Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Techniques, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that is a brainstorm.
Yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brainstorm Broadcast. Public traffic issue is a commonplace. The Democratic Republic of Congo is no exception. Today's theme is public traffic and law enforcement. Today's show hosts my guest, Rodrigue Bonsole, president of NGO called Righteous Congolese People in Affair. Hello, sir, and welcome to this program.
Hello, Mr. Guy. I'm very happy to be here once again on the show, and I'm very happy that we're going to have to debate on different topics, which is very important for the Congolese people.
As I just mentioned at the outlet, the public traffic is a commonplace. It's a worldwide issue. The Democratic Republic of Congo is no exception, especially in Kinshasa city. And day in, day out, you witness that when you go to work, when you go different places, you witness public traffic, especially traffic jam. But before we get started, I want you to tell us, to break down the concept public traffic and law enforcement, what is it in your perspective?
In my perspective, I wanted to make a small definition for the public transportations, for example. In Africa, we have, in ancient times, we had boats. We had people were often walking by foot, and some of them were using a kind of tipoi. But in nowadays, we have what we call globalizations. White people have created cars. They have created planes. They have invented even what we call a kind of tramway and trains. All of them, they are included in the traffic transportations. Basically, in China or in Japan, we found a lot of traffic reorganizations that people were kind of making, kind of to make a kind of remodernize the transportation in the world. They have invented what we call macadam. They created macadam, what we call in French autoroute or highways. And this macadam or other routes, it is a kind of a way that allows to several cars and the trucks to pass without blocking the traffic. In Congo, especially here, we don't have too many roads. The populations of the people are a lot. We have overpopulation. We are very populated in the Congo here, and you see people don't use much more car because of the traffic jams. The government, for example, has to create the roads. The roads will enable the traffic for the population to go to work. I might leave my house at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I have to reach the work, for example, at 5:30. But if the traffic is blocked and people can't go to the work easily, it's going to be a kind of very issue in the government.
Yes, do you think the public traffic is important in society, and if so, why?
The public transportation is very important because it enables people to move very quickly. I want to go, for example, to UK or in France, I will use the plane, aircraft. And if I want to go to Lubumbashi or to Goma, I will use a car if we had roads. Because walking on foot, to be a kind of pedestrian, you will suffer a lot and you will take too much more time and never reach where you go. But if I use a car now, I will time up that I have to reach my place where I am going in a few times, and I will reach there. it is very important to have a traffic easily.
And now, as our discussion highlights public traffic and law enforcement, you think that those concepts go hand in hand?
Yeah, public transportation and law enforcement, they go hand on hand, because the regulations of the roads, it is taken or it is directed by the police, or we call CRAP, and the drivers, they have to go to school to study what are the laws of the road, because the road has its own laws. They don't have to break the laws of the road, and they have to stop when they see the red flashing light, or the green flashing light, or the yellow flashing light. All of these, they are the part of the traffic on road.
Oh, okay, that's important. If you just mention the police, who are supposed to regulate the traffic, especially traffic, and they suppose there are also regulations that should be abide by the police, including car drivers and so forth. We want you to take a look at this following video that highlights police are tracking you, especially drivers, when you don't abide by police regulations. Please take a look at it and we'll be back.
With cameras mounted on a police cruiser,
what we're looking at is a license plate directly across the street, 131-9161.
cops in San Leandro, California can capture and record license plates as they drive down any street. An efficient method to catch car thieves or pull over vehicles that show up in a criminal database.
With technology and with smart, good policing, it allows us to keep our public safe.
But when a local activist petitioned the police department and got a hold of the records on his car, he says he was stunned by what he saw.
Did you think it was a case of Big Brother's gone too far?
Yeah, I do think Big Brother's gone too far, because I have not been charged with, I'm not suspected of committing any crime.
Mike Katz-Lakabe found what he says is an egregious violation of privacy. 112 instances over 2 years where police just happened to get images of his car and more.
So this picture shows my car parked in the driveway of my house, and very clearly shows my daughters and myself getting out of the car.
The license plate scanner is always on. Anytime a police officer drives the car, it's recording, storing license plates on its servers. In just a few minutes, we watch the system record hundreds of plates. Police say the data can later be accessed to solve crimes. Everything from following leads on Amber Alerts to collecting unpaid tickets. But Katz-Lakabe says a line has clearly been crossed.
Innocent people should not have their records being stored by law enforcement.
Law enforcement, though, has wholeheartedly embraced this technology. More than a third of large police agencies are using automated plate readers, according to a 2010 study by George Mason University. There are 3 cameras on the roof, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the side. They capture plates instantaneously. Those plates are then cross-checked against suspect vehicles. So if a car comes across as being stolen, the officer will be instantly alerted.
High alert.
It's not that data collection is bad, critics say, but it's that departments keep the information on file, sometimes for months, sometimes for years. Every department has its own policy. San Leandro, for instance, keeps its data for a year.
Once they have the location of your plate and where you were on that date and time that they scanned your plate, they can see where you work, who you associate with, where you pray, where you're going to the doctor, and they can learn quite a lot about you.
In order to have a discussion about something like this, people have to know what's happening.
This here is an infrared camera.
Police tell us that technology is only beneficial against crime suspects. But in this new era of digital rights and privacy, some say there needs to be more transparency and limits to what information can be gathered and stored on citizens, doing nothing more than driving their cars. Dan Simon, CNN, San Leandro, California.
All right, now, we want to know what could be the responsibility of car drivers and bike riders regarding the traffic. And if you could just try to point out realities in the Kinshasa city.
Bike drivers, it is very usual. Very issue in the Congo, because several years in the past we didn't have bikes. But today we have several bike drivers. They do not even obey to the laws, to the road laws. Those guys, they just ride their bikes without even caring about the regulations of the flashlight or red light. They just think much more about gaining money, and they don't care even about the life of the people. I said to you before that they have to follow the regulations of the road.
And honestly speaking, and apart from the fact of abiding by the regulations on the road to make a traffic easier, but do you think those guys are also important in society? If you want to tell us, in matter of the traffic, are those bike riders important? Do they contribute a lot to smooth the traffic? What could you say according to how you view things?
The bike drivers, they do not really smooth the traffic. The only thing which is missing to us is the roads. We miss roads. If we had beautiful or good roads linking from town to suburb, we might even drive our own cars without even being blocked. The bike drivers, they only just easier the people to move where the road is broken or where there is a kind of a huge traffic jam. And then you can use a bike or a bike driver to drop you, to take you from UPN till here, to take you from downtown to Canggu, from Canggu till Kinshasa or elsewhere.
Let's talk about the punctuality. For instance, you have an important appointment somewhere, and then you are late. Say, no, how can I get there on? I want to be punctual. Don't you think that using a bike it helps a lot just to get to the destination fast as you could then taking a car?
Mr. Guy, I worry that you have to be much more pragmatic and practical. Bikes, it helps, of course, but it is very dangerous for the life of a human being.
Then at that moment you can bring up some advantages and disadvantages, pros and cons.
There are much more disadvantages than advantages. The only advantages is because we don't have roads. If we had roads in Congo, bikes shouldn't be allowed. Here, they allow them just because we don't have roads. They have to get much more on the regulations of the road.
As Congolese living in Kinshasa City, I think you're the witness of what happens day in, day out. What could be the real causes of traffic jam in Kinshasa City? If you could also name some cases in outside even the countryside, but let's focus here in Kinshasa City. What could be some of the causes of traffic jam?
In Kinshasa, the cause of the traffic jam, it is mainly focused on the drivers. We had several drivers that didn't go to school. They even didn't study. They even don't know how to read the regulations, which is written on the paper. We had police. The police are very corrupted. I'm telling you something which is important and sure. You go on the road and check, you will see a lot of the police people are corrupted. They don't care about regulating the road. They just stop the car to beg, give money, give 5, give 1,000. They even don't care about regulating the road. And the third, it is we miss the road. We do not have roads in Congo. Many roads have been broken down, and the drivers, most of them rush. They need to go quickly, fast as possible. I want to live here, and I want to go quickly to European or to Bandal because I will come back to get much more money. And it is something also important that you have to think much more. We don't have signal signs of the road. The government should pay much more attention on that, pointing out that here you have to slow down, here you have to move fast, here you have to stop. We don't have all of these facts. You see, it blocks the traffic regulation in Congo. Okay. Which is why we have traffic jams everywhere.
If I could just sum up your statement, it means that road infrastructure is a problem.
Exactly.
And in addition to that, you also have overpopulation. Population's growth. And
not about the population. China is a very populated country, but they have regulations of the road. Traffic jam is everywhere, but they have to be regulated. In Congo, we don't have this kind of regulation here. the traffic jam must be regulated.
Yeah.
In China, there's traffic jam.
Yeah.
In Europe, there's traffic jam. In America, there's traffic jam. But they are regulated.
Yeah.
Here, if you try to regulate, you will see a kind of an authority breaking the law himself, using another way.
All right. Okay. Oh, is it true what you're saying is a fact? I don't disagree with what you're saying because you're eyewitness of what happens every day.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, because we cannot talk about this without identifying the problem before finding a solution, among other things, every year there are those buying cars, bikes, and so forth. So there is no way to control, no way to have, and so checking up is right. So since we talk about Kinshasa City reality as regards to traffic jam, we want you to take just a look at the following video, which highlights the traffic jam in Kinshasa City. Please take a look at it. We'll be back.
Early morning in this part of eastern Kinshasa means one thing: another hectic rush hour. The bus carries all sorts of people, from businessmen heading for the city centre to students running late for their morning lectures. But like with many commutes, not everyone is happy.
We are stuck together like sardines in a can. There should be more respect for everybody's personal space. We have to stand up, so we're tired when we arrive. It stops us from studying properly. They should provide more buses.
An alternative solution for getting around this vast city is taxis and shared taxis, a distinctive shade of yellow that fills up the crowded streets. They must carry a registration number in plain sight, a measure imposed to crack down on would-be kidnappers. But even these taxis, which seem so numerous, have an issue with insufficient supply.
It's tricky at this time of day because people are leaving work, but hopefully I'll find a taxi.
With these travel issues facing the residents of Kinshasa, a handful of Uber-style startups are hoping to move in and fill a gap in the market. The most well-developed of these companies is managed by young entrepreneur Patricia. Her startup, Uber's Cabs, has a large fleet of vehicles across the city. One snag is the cost, usually somewhere between $10 and $40. It's out of reach for the majority of the local population.
The goal at the moment is to reach all social classes. We started with the middle classes, but we'd like to offer the same service but with different models of vehicle, to be able to cater to the needs of all the people.
Kinshasa is the third biggest city in Africa, with a population of some 10 million. And like many African metropolises, it's only forecast to get bigger in the coming years.
Right. After identifying the cause, what could be the solution? What can be done to control traffic jam, particularly in Kinshasa City?
The government has to, the authority of the town, the governor, he has to check the drivers of the cars. I heard someone saying that to me that if you want to find a hooligan, go to check the driver of the car. Why? Because they allow to hooligans to use the driving wheel. They didn't go to school to study about how to drive a car. They just go to call people, come to the car, and after all, they give them the one drive without even taking care about the people. Drivers have to be educated. Drivers have to get the driving license. Drivers, they have to abide by the law. They don't have to make police their friends. And the second problem, the police, they have to reject all of their behaviors. They were behaving too bad. And the law enforcement, they have to catch all of these people breaking the law and putting them in jail.
Right. And then I want to point out the fact to you just said about driving license. You think that if each driver has his driving license, this will help somehow solve the problem of traffic jam in Kinshasa City?
A true driving license, it means what? Before I give to the driving license, I have to check whether you studied, whether you know the road code, the code of the road, and whether you really drive well, and then I might give you the driving license. Not because you just give to me, you hand to me $100 and I give to a driving license. No, I'm putting the life of people in jeopardy. You have to think much more about it. I don't want to put life of people in jeopardy. I have to save lives of people by checking which person to give him a car to drive.
But this is theoretically speaking, but tell the facts. What's actually happened in Kinshasa City? Because you mentioned education as a key factor. No one as a driver can drive without having a training, a proper training for driving correctly, obeying traffic regulations, and so on.
I want to come up some. Excuse me.
Yeah.
If I say the education, I want to speak much more about the changing mind. Mindset of the people. If they have a mindset changed, everything is solved. Everything is done. Everything is solved.
Right.
We don't think much more about money. Just change everything well.
Right. So another issue, another concern was what should be the contribution of law enforcement in the public traffic?
Oh, very important.
Yeah.
The contribution is very higher. I said to you that if I have my mind is changed, if I receive an advice, I would automatically change. It is very important, the law enforcement from the police. And also, we have to care much more about the money that people used to pay to the drivers, the ticket. Why do they behave like this? Because we overpay them. For example, the ticket might be 1,000, but the driver says, I've seen a lot of people here standing on the bus stop waiting for a car. I raise up the money, not 1,000, you will pay 5,000. You see? And when you give to them illegally money like this, they will think that what they do is better.
But after the law is set, after regulations is put into place for drivers to abide by them, and do you think that the state must follow up? Because if some disobey, what are some provisions made just to help them get back on the track?
The state has to follow up. It has to check if people really respect the law they have put on road. If the state don't follow, they fail. And everything is failed. The state is a kind of father watching over the family, wife, children, and all of these guys. If they fall, everything is fall.
Law enforcement and traffic is very important because the drivers should abide by laws in order to assure smooth traffic in every given city, especially. We want to focus on the Democratic Republic of Congo, namely Kinshasa City, but the following video will give you an idea or insights on how law enforcement helps obey traffic. Please watch this video and we're back.
Setlapelo Taje is a victim of a road accident. He was involved in an accident in 2006, leaving him paralyzed. He is now wheelchair-bound. Taje believes motorists on South African roads have a role to play to prevent unnecessary deaths.
It was about 7 to 8 cars that were coming in front of us, and the last car of those oncoming traffic, he wanted to overtake all of those cars at one time, and he was driving at a very high speed. And then our driver, he tried to avoid him, to give him space so that he could pass.
Festive season clampdown operations are underway.
Anyone who is not obeying the rules of the road will be apprehended and be detained. Those that are driving under the influence of liquor will be detained. All those that are driving over speeding, they will also be detained. Once we find a car that is not roadworthy on our road, we are going to apprehend and impound that particular vehicle.
Authorities say focus will be on all provinces' roads, including the notorious N8. Meanwhile, the province's emergency services says it's all systems go.
Our readiness is in a way that we've deployed our resources strategically on our national roads. When you're traveling around, you'll see some of our vehicles, you'll also see police, you'll also see traffic. And then what we're doing this year as well, we're encouraging the drivers to take their stops and to make sure that they rest. And then our readiness, we also introduced a WhatsApp group that we're using as emergency services for reporting these incidents.
Motorists have been urged to drive safely and adhere to speed limits. Drinking and driving, speeding and fatigue are mainly the causes of road accidents. Tabiso Khadebe, SABC News, Bloemfontein.
All right. Now, what do you think about the road infrastructures as far as public traffic is concerned? You just already mentioned about that. Would you come back again, building roads and so forth? We don't have many
highways,
many ways. But at the same time, you
intersections, we don't have them.
At the same time, you must balance road infrastructures, the building of road infrastructures, and on the other hand, you have cars that getting many bought every year, drivers and so forth. How could you balance the things? You think road infrastructure is really a problem just to help ease a public traffic?
It is important, Mr. Guy, that you have to understand that the road, it is very important in Congo. We have a huge country, a tremendous country, a beautiful country. We have cities like Kinshasa, Matadi, and Bandundu, and Kikwit. All of these cities, they have to be linked. You see, if we thought about creating roads linking Kinshasa to Bandundu, that you can reach here from there in 1 hour, we couldn't have traffic jams. If we had really highways from here to Katanga, we couldn't have traffic jams. Why do we have traffic jams? Because many people just want to focus their activities here in Kinshasa. They want to make commerce, trade here in Kinshasa. They even don't think about traveling, going to these cities I mentioned before. You see, the concentration of activities here, that's why you see many traffic jams. People don't move out. People just care about having money here. But what about the provinces? Okay. It is important to create roads from here to provinces. All of this, we have to be linked, united.
Okay, wonderful ideas. So I can just try to understand.
Back me up.
At the same time, the viewers understand that the responsibilities are shared. On one hand, we have people, citizens, passengers, we have car drivers, bike riders, and we also have states that has its part to play.
Exactly.
And then you, as a Congolese citizen, are you optimistic or pessimistic about the positive change in the days ahead regarding this issue?
Naturally, I am optimistic. Come on, how can you call me pessimistic?
Because sometimes people criticize, say things won't work, but are you positive?
I criticize and I advise.
All right.
Meanwhile, I pray for you. They say, even though we suffer today, I know there's going to be one time that everything is going to be fine. Roads, food, everything is going to be fine. I'm very optimistic.
Thank you so much, Rodrigue Bonsole, for coming.
It's up to me to thank you for the privilege.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have covered and discussed this relevant issue of public traffic and law enforcement. Though it's a global issue, but the particular emphasis was put in the Democratic Republic of Congo, namely Kinshasa City. Even though some are complaining a lot about traffic jam day in, day out, there is also a hope in the days ahead that things will get better. So we'll all look forward that change is possible, even a mindset change from citizens, the role of the state to play in order to make things happen in a good way possible. Thank you so much for watching the national channel, RTNC de Développement. Stay tuned in on this national channel. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mix, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that it's a brainstorm.
You yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.